On problem 12, we want to make sure we understand the setup before we get started with the functions. So circumference is a function of radius. Here you can see circumference depends on the radius. And for the basic function then, we put in a radius and we get a circumference out. And we get it based on using this formula. So to do the inverse, we're going to put a circumference in and we'll get a radius out. It goes, switch the inputs and the outputs. Now to find out what that function is, we're going to solve for the input. So if we take the formula c equals 2 pi r, we'll solve this for r. That'll get us the inverse of the function. And we would do that by dividing both sides by 2 pi. So we get radius is circumference divided by 2 pi. That would be the inverse function. Notice now it's as a function of circumference. So this is radius as a function of circumference. So circumference is now the input, and if we put it in, we'll get the radius coming out. So if you look at the first example, this would be, it's an inverse, so 8 pi is the circumference. So this would be the f inverse evaluated at a circumference of 8 pi. We put in 8 pi for c, and if we what we get coming out is a radius on here. So the 4 represents a radius of 4 centimeters. And we could spell that out and say a circumference of 8 pi centimeters will have a radius of 4 centimeters. And if you don't like 8 pi, replace it with the decimal equivalent, like 25 point something centimeters, or whatever 8 times 3.14 happens to be. All right, now if you look at example or problem C and D, this is almost the same but a little different. So this is the function, so this will be where whatever we put in is going to be a radius, and we'll get out a circumference. So 8 represents a radius of 8 centimeters. We'll put it into the function, and r, 8 centimeters for r, and what we get out is going to be a circumference. So the 16 pi, or 50.3 centimeters, is a circumference. And we can say that in words. This says a radius of 8 centimeters will have a circumference of 50.3 centimeters. Notice the units are correct. A circumference is just a distance around the outside, so it's not square or cubic centimeters, just centimeters itself.